Hello. Hi. Happy New Year. My name is Giovanna Bernal. I'm a Panama attorney with more than 20 years of experience. And I'm super happy to be here in this year that's beginning, 2026. I really appreciate that you're here and getting ready for your move. If you haven't moved to Panama yet, please feel free to ask the questions that you want to know, that you remember, that you want to know about Panama, if there are any changes going on for 2026, if you are planning to apply for residency this year. We definitely can answer your questions on your particular type of visa that you're interested to. Right now, we have quite a big amount of applicants or interested in moving to Panama. Last year was quite a particular year as well, and we expect that this year will be a year for those that are looking for a plan B, that are looking for a place to be where you are well treated, where you could find peace, where you could enjoy your retirement, or just have spend your time here with family, learn Spanish, and entertain yourself and enjoy your life in this beautiful country. For those that don't know us, we are a law firm in Panama that support expats, individuals that wants to relocate and live here. We are a team of 20 people, four attorneys, paralegals, and assistants that will be supporting you. And in case you are here because you are already one of our clients, we'll be quite happy to say hi to you. As you if you are already clients and you already have residency, I know that some of you will need, help with opening bank accounts, setting up perhaps a foundation. We have experience in the last few months, also higher interest in purchasing real estate. Um, so I think this is a good sign because usually many of especially the retirees, will rent first, and people say, yes, we rent first because we want to explore Panama. But yes, that was a few years ago. People thought, okay, we will rent first. And now people are finding places to be. Some are purchasing pre-construction, for delivery in next 2-3 years. And some are already purchasing apartments in Panama City, condos in the beaches areas as well, in the Gorgona, the Coronado area, and also houses in Boquete area, in Chiriquí. Also, the area of Pedací is quite interesting, place to be, quite unique. So definitely, there are options for you. I know that many of you will visit Panama City first and may explore, will do your residency and then explore. What you could do also, if you have already obtained your temporary or you're thinking on getting residency, is that you could visit Panama and explore at the same time. You could get your temporary ID, and then you could obtain, explore the country, right? Hello everyone. Hi, thank you for saying hi. You are very free to ask questions and let us know where you're from. There is no silly questions. All questions are important, and this is the space for us to listen to your questions, to your comments, and try to help you with the questions you might have. So let's start over. If you have a joint custody of a dependent, but you also have physical custody, what documentation would be needed for the dependent to get visa if I'm doing the Friendly Nations visa? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much, Ms. Patton. When you have, for those that don't know about this requirement, if you are adding dependents in your application for visa process and your dependents are minors, less than 18 years old, and both parents will not travel to Panama, or there's a divorce, or situation where only one parent can visit Panama, there are ways, to submit the visa application. Let me explain. If you have joint custody, it means that both parents needs to make a decision on a minor, which means that the other parent will have to give a power of attorney to submit a visa application. That's one thing. This power of attorney can be a temporary power of attorney, like for 1 year or for 5 years, permanent, like depending on how easy it is for the other parent that won't be in Panama issue a power of attorney, because this is done in person at a Panamanian consulate. There are two in Florida, in Washington, in Long Beach, Houston, Philadelphia, New York, New Orleans. So it's a visit that needs to be done in person for applying for residency for the minor, authorizing residency, and also to travel. Because if you're traveling with your family and your children that are minors, you could definitely travel with them with your tourists, and you can exit and leave the country without any permit. But once you become resident, it's like Panamanians. When we are traveling with children without the other parent, we need to the other parent that stays needs to issue a power of attorney or a letter, basically authorizing the exit, the traveling. Same applies for residents. Once your children become resident, that joint, custody, you will have to show the order that shows that it's joint, and a power of attorney, basically. If the custody is, how do you call it, full custody, in that case you could show that's enough. If it joint, we will need the a power of attorney from the other parent, if the other parent appears in the birth certificate. Thank you. Okay, after I get my documents apostille, what do I do? Okay, once you get your documents apostille, that's really good. Congratulations. It's your step ahead, to applying for your residency. What we like to do is to review documents to make sure they look good for the visa process, and send them to our office by FedEx or to the attorney's office, right? So the most important thing is to receive documents ahead, because if you pass them, authenticate them through a Panamanian consulate in the US or in Canada, they need to be stamped as well by our Foreign Affairs Office and translated. So the best is to send them in original to Panama. While once they are in Panama, then you will, you're once they're approved and you send them, you are ready to visit Panama. Of course, you could plan your trip before, like you could schedule and say, okay, I'm coming in April, I'm coming in May, right? The most important thing is that your documents are good for they are only good for 6 months, which means that you need to make a visit to Panama within those 6 months. Hello, Ms. Bernal. I'm currently working with Ms. Navarro. I received my permanent visa in November 2025. Okay, congratulations. I'm returning to Panama with my wife and granddaughter, for whom we have legal custody. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, that's great. If you already have got your temporary residency, it means that you will receive news from us soon. Usually the immigration office approve residency within 4 5 months, so you should hear from us within 4 5 months. Immigration office have up to 6 months to deliver, but usually they reply within 4 5 months. We'll keep you posted, Mr. Douglas. Question. Assume that a person has already acquired permanent residency in Panama on the friendly nations visa. After that, if they would then like to apply for travel passport via the travel passport. This is a great question, because I had these questions many times this week, and also since they apply, I think there are more information now on maybe YouTube or social media about this travel passport program. Um, and I will tell you how does it work. If you are applying for foreign nations visa, pensionado, temporary visa for U.S. citizen, and or any other type of visa that's not the golden visa, the qualified investor visa, there is no special passport, no special travel passport. The travel passport that was approved in October last year is for those that apply under the qualified investor visa. Or like this question here is like passport program via certificate of deposit, right? Generating 850 month for 5 years. That is another program that is not new. It's been here for a while. You could also able to get this special passport if you apply to this program. The thing here is that yes, you would, if you are under the friendly nations visa, you would have to basically renounce your friendly nations to apply to this program, which I don't recommend. If you are under the friendly nations visa and you want to have Panamanian passport, it would be best that you apply for citizenship after 5 years. If you are from Canada or US, it's 5 years. And after 5 years, you can apply for Panamanian passport, which is not only passport, but also citizenship. I also recommend that you have a life in Panama, have some type of address, start learning some Spanish. There is a test about Panamanian history and culture that you will have to pass. It's not difficult, but you have to study. So I don't recommend you to switch to a temporary option unless you really need a passport, because for some reason you won't have a passport and you need to travel. Like there are some cases where someone is stateless and would have to get a passport to travel to other countries, right? But if you are not in a rush, you could definitely wait for 5 years, and then after 5 years, apply for Panamanian citizenship. Mhm. All right. We have met with Ms. Langenstein Sabrina. She was very helpful. We just received our visa papers back from the Panamanian consulate today. Oh, that's wonderful. I think our next step is to set up a meeting with her. Well, yes, you could definitely. What we like to do is review the documents, just to make sure they look fine. Um, and then send them by FedEx or DHL or UPS to our office to make sure that we have them, they're complete, they're ready for you to visit Panama and stay here for 1 or 2 weeks depending on your visa. And during those days you get your temporary ID. Really, once you have the documents, just make sure you arrange your trip to Panama and schedule an appointment with us, so you could get your temporary within 6 months, which is the validity of your paperwork. Hello, I'm ready to start looking for housing. What are the first steps? Looking to relocate within 2-3 days. Okay. Oh, 2-3 days. Wow, that's wonderful. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Good to see you. Um, so if you're looking to find housing, I would recommend you could definitely go to those listings that some of the brokers will show on their websites to understand something about Panama. There are some free websites that some of the owners will show their properties, like some of the expats or the Panamanians will check, especially for learning about the real estate market. If you're interested, you can go to Encuentra 24. It's like meaning find 24. There's a website, and also how is it called? Compre o alquile, like buy or rent, just to have an idea. But the best, in my opinion, is find a realtor that you trust. We can recommend you one if you need one that can show you around if you're interested in living in Panama City. There's also Airbnb in some places in Panama City as well, and also in the interior Airbnb is acceptable. But if you're looking to within 2-3 years, sorry, I read 2-3 days. Yes, if you're looking to relocate, I definitely recommend you to start doing some research, getting to know the cost of living, and the rental cost for staying in Panama City, the neighborhoods, because every neighborhood is different and every neighborhood has its different costs, right? If you are in the city center, it's a little bit different if you are in the outskirts of Panama City. So that would be my advice, to do some research and get in contact with some realtors. Okay. We have all our documents apostille. My wife FBI background check, her social security, income verification. Okay, yes, great, great. If you have your documents already ready, you could definitely send them by courier, and then yes, they will be translated and authenticated by a foreign affairs. So you're ready to, if you have everything, you are ready to be in Panama for your getting your temporary. It's important that you have to get both FBI background checks. Everybody needs a FBI background check. And one social security income verification is enough. Also, if you're married, you need also to show a marriage certificate. Apostille. Everything is apostille. These type of visas are quite straightforward, but the most important thing, like we always try to remind, is like everything is good for 6 months and everything needs to be apostille. If everything is like that, that's perfect. Thank you. Hello, I'm retired military veteran and was referred by Ronnie Hook. What are my current incentives and fees for residency? Okay, thank you so much for being here. Uh, as a military veteran, you can definitely obtain permanent residency using the pensionado visa, which gives you a permanent residency card, and it gives you also e-cedula, which is an ID for permanent residents. As a retiree, you could obtain, there's a very long list of discounts. For example, 25% on airline tickets, restaurants, hotels, entertainment, medical services, medicines, and some professional services as well. You could bring a car every 2 years. You could, without all the taxes, not free of taxes, but some taxes are exempt. You could also, as a veteran, get access to some of the hospitals in Panama City because they have arrangements and agreements with TRICARE and the VA, and there are a list of medical benefits you have in the US that you also could apply in Panama, like in Panama Clinic or Punta Pacifica. And definitely with Panama will give you, the list of discounts. That's very attractive, the pensionado. And another important fact, is that this discount is not only for pensionados. If you are a woman that have residency and you are more than 55, you are eligible for these discounts. And if you're man, if you're 60, you also eligible, even though you didn't apply for the pensionado visa. We also have the legal custody orders from courts apostille, along with her birth certificate, of our daughter's birth certificate, all apostille. We have reviewed these documents with Ms. Navarro. Okay, great. Yes, that's important because the custody is part of the visa process, right? The court order needs to be also apostille and needs to be also submitted in the visa application. Mhm. Do I need to present for my wife and granddaughter to obtain their respective temporary visa? Uh-huh. Yes. For a visa process, it's important that you have to make a trip to Panama. Everybody that is applying, even though it's a dependent, they need to visit Panama and stay here, right, for at least 5 working days. Since you're adding a dependent, and if under the pensionado visa, they will consider 250 for each dependent. So for example, if your pension is 1,000 USD and you want to add a dependent, you would have to open a bank account in Panama to support your dependent. But if you have 100, 250 on your benefit letter, that's enough, because you can support a dependent with 250 additional to the 1,000. So per every dependent, we have to add up 250. Is there any disadvantage to physically being there versus obtaining a power of attorney? Okay, no, you will definitely have to be physically in Panama to apply for a visa. The power of attorney is issued in our office, yeah, in the office, right? In person, and it goes to a notary, but it cannot be done in the U.S. for the visa process. I need to have my background authenticated. Do I have it mailed to your office by the consulate? I see 85 to do that. Is the money order to be made out of the consulate for that? Oh, good question. Panamanian consulates in the US, when you send them paperwork, they want you to put them in an envelope with a cover letter where you explain, like, I'm attaching my background check, my benefit letter, and then you send them with a prepaid envelope, and you add also a money order that sums up a courier. That's $85, $30 per each document. So if you are also including two documents in addition to the $85 for the FedEx, you have to add up and you sum up the what's necessary, the $30 per each document and the 85, and then they will send it back to you, the documents ready. If we are opening a business in Panama, can we do that while still in the USA, or do we have to come and do it there? We already visited. We want to relocate in June. Oh, okay, great. You could open a business in Panama remotely. What you have to do is just send your forms to know your client, basically some forms, so the attorney can know you, right? It's part of the regulations in order to set up a business, a corporation in Panama, and then a business license is issued here. If you don't have anyone here to be a director, in practice, some of the firms, attorneys, will have nominee directors that will help you sign a business license. But I recommend you that you can set, for example, if you come in June, you can start setting up the Panamanian corporation, and while you're here, you could sign the business license, because the business license is the document that lets you do business here, and from the date that is issued is when you can start a business. So if you won't start a business before, it's better to do it once you're here in June. Good day, Miss Bernal. Hi, Joy. I have teenagers and I'm applying for a pensionado visa. Should I add them to my pensionado visa or add them later with the family reunification application? Oh, that's a good question. Since they're teenagers, okay, I've seen both cases. I've seen some families that they include their teenagers in their application. The disadvantage, that is that they will obtain residency only until the age that they're 25. But some people want to have it anyway and they switch later. Like, because you could do that. You could add them now in your visa. They will have residency until they're 25. And you have to remember that before they're 25, and when you're ready, switch. Some others say, no, I want them to have permanent residency under the family reunification. So the difference is the cost. Because adding them in the pensionado, it doesn't bring payments, for immigration. And if you put them in a reunification application, there are some additional payments to be submitted at the immigration office, and it's a two-step process. The reunification application, when you add the dependents later, takes 2 years. Like the Friendly Nations visa, you have to get a 2-year residency ID first, and then after 2 years, there is a final application for permanent residency. So if you ask me, I would suggest you for them to do the family reunification now, because they will be permanent and then you secure them the residency. But if you want to wait for cost or reasons, you could add them in your pensional visa. Hello, thank you for this info session. You're welcome. What does it take to open a bank account? Are there any tax filings requirements in Panama? What requirements for buying a house? Okay, opening a bank account with some banks. I don't want to say all banks because every bank has its own policies, but it should be easy. For example, I know Banismo and Banco Aliado and other banks, they will give you the bank account opening the same day as long as you show them your passport and your pension letter if you're pensionado, or if you don't have benefit letters, your latest tax return. That works. If you are not obtaining local income in Panama, Panama won't tax you. It's different tax system from the US. In the US, they will tax you because of your citizenship, no matter where you are, no matter where your income is from. In Panama, it's different. We tax based on the territory. We only tax, for example, your rental income. If you open a business in Panama, that income is taxed in Panama. But if you have earnings from a business that's outside of Panama, or rental income from a property that's in the US, that is not taxed here. And if you want to purchase a house, you don't need to be a resident necessarily. You could purchase a house now remotely, giving power of attorney or representation to an attorney in Panama. What, of course, I recommend you to know more about the place, the house, right? If you can visit Panama, I recommend you to hire a realtor and representation from an attorney that will represent you in the whole process and will help you in every step of the process until you are the owner. And that's basically it. You can consider purchasing with a foundation, which is like a trust in Panama, or purchasing with a corporation for investment purposes, or as an individual person. That's a personal choice. Hello, Rana. Do you know a great place we can learn Spanish? Do you have any recommendations? Someone told me that there's a school in Casco Viejo, the old quarter. That's called, I think it's called Casco Spanish classes. I think it's the name. There's another one, is EPA. If you send me an email, I can send you their contact details. Mhm. Thank you very much for your kind answer. What is the likelihood of being approved for Panamanian citizenship after 5 years? If fluent Spanish, but with very little physical residency in Panama. Yes, this is why I recommend to you that you can start learning Spanish, because the test is in Spanish. There is a how do you call that? A booklet that they will give you, and you can start studying and getting ready, right? And about the address is something important, because it depends on your situation, because they will consider if you are a retiree that has its own income, or if you depend on someone that lives in Panama, or if you work in Panama, or if you have your own business in Panama. So they want to know that you have some sort of connection to the country. If you don't ever visit Panama and you just have the residency but never visit, the likelihood is very low that you get approval, because they want to know, they will check how many days you've been here, things like that. That's kind of discretionary sometimes. So my advice is that you try to show some type of connection, whether it's an economical or personal, family, or income, connected, so you can have some opportunity to be eligible, or address if you are a retiree. Can the fee that Prime Solutions charges for coordinating the visa process be paid by credit card? Yes, we accept credit card payments. We can send you a link, and also you could pay by Zelle and Wise and to Bank of America and Citibank. I want to register my son as Panamanian. I was born in Herrera. Oh, really? Me too. I was born in Herrera as well. Would this his cedula cedula number start with 6 or 8? Okay, great. I had a client that she was also from Herrera, and she registered his son in Santa Maria Herrera, which was a house she had there. So she, since her certificate of address was from Herrera province. Herrera is a province, for those that don't know, where Chitre is the capital of the city. And we in Panama, every province has its own number. For example, if you were born in Panama province, you get 8, number 8, if you're Panamanian. If you get citizenship, you get N. If your son and you're Panamanian, you register him as Panamanian born abroad, the number is linked on the address. So if you show an address from Herrera, he will be 6. But if you show an address from Panama, he will be 8. Uh-huh. Hi, Ronald. I'm a client. My residency was approved August of 2025. Congrats. My temporary ID expired in December 2025. And I also have a new US passport. Okay, great. Can I complete my application this February? Yes, this is a thank you very much, Ronald. Congratulations, on your approval. This is a very common question because people are afraid that if their temporary ID expire, they will have problems at the airport, or they will have, problems at any place because they don't have, the ID yet. If you have a so if you have a US passport, you have to transfer the seal that's on your old passport to your new one. That's one thing. And you're definitely coming February. So that's a common question. As long as you have the approval, what we do is we notify ourselves at the immigration office, and that's fine. When you come back to the airport, they know that you are a resident already. You can do the line for residents, even though your ID is expired, because your residency was approved. And we notify ourselves for that situation. You have 2 years to be back. If you cannot make it, I had a case of a client that she couldn't make it for health reasons, and what we do, we had to renew her cedula letter. That's very rare. Most people come soon, but yes, you have up to 2 years to be back. But you could definitely be in February, Ronald. Thank you. Oh, and remember that you have to let us know to help you transfer the seal of your passport to your new one. Immigration is enforcing some of the regulations. Like if you have a new passport, the registrado seal needs to be on your new one. If you have a new address, you have to update your address. Those things are now very well supervised by immigration, and they put in this penalty of $100 if you don't update your address. So it's important that do this type of things, and we can definitely help you and support you. I attended, Bit 44, very nice. Last week, I originally consulted with Ivan in November and sent a retainer. I'm in Panama and I need to open a bank account. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for reaching. If you're still in Panama after the tour, you could definitely, visit our office, and we can schedule an appointment with you, because what you need is your latest tax return and your passport, and $100 to make a deposit in cash. Once you're there, they will help you with the online banking, and also get a debit card for you to have from the bank. And congratulations on being here in the tour. Do you have a baseline fee schedule for your services? Yes, in Panama, this is a question we get very often because I know that in some countries, like in the US, the fees are by hour sometimes for professionals like attorneys, but in Panama, most of the time, things are fixed. Especially when we talk about visas, it's the same visa, how many, depending on how many applicants, is a fixed price. And everything, we include everything, so you won't have any surprise eventually in the quote. And there is a fee schedule. But if it's about visas, we like to have consultation first. We offer complimentary consultation just because we like to suggest you what's the best visa for you if you don't know yet. Some people know, like, I have a retirement, I'm eligible for pensional, but some people are far away from retirement and they still want to obtain residency. So we like to listen to them and explain what are the options. We have been working with Ms. Navarro towards our pensionado visa. We are having our documents apostilled next week. Wonderful. Is there an application that we also need to complete and send to you? Not really. Thank you for being here, but not really. We try to put things easier, for you. There is an application, but what we do is that we try to, when you're in Panama, you fill that up with us in person. It's a long form. So when we're in the meeting, we will help you each by each question, and then, like, you have to start with the name, last name, the first name, if you're married, if you study, if you committed a crime in the past, if you're working, if you plan to work, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in Panama, a long list of questions. So in our experience, sometimes we send it and some of our clients fill it up in the PDF, but most of the time we wait until you hear and we fill it up because the meeting won't take more than 1 hour. And during that time, you fill up the application, we make copy of your passport, sign power of attorney here, and that's it. And you're good for the appointment at immigration. And that's it. Okay, no more questions. Okay, perfect. So yes, the most, remember that we offer complimentary consultation. You could also reach us by email. We also create WhatsApp groups because in this process, most of you mentioned that you have the documents apostilled. So we open a WhatsApp group. When you're ready to visit, we schedule an appointment. You say, okay, I'm coming in February. We give you an appointment. For getting the pictures of your permanent residency card, or if you're getting a cedula, there's now a delay on 75 days, so the appointments are now in March. So it's important, that you have to let us know when you plan to visit, what are your dates, so we put you in the calendar. We make sure we have everything. We make sure that you have to send documents here. It's very important for us to make sure that you have the complete paperwork and your dates, because we put an appointment for visit here, where everything, the rest is done here. We take you the pictures, we fill up the forms, power of attorney, we arrange the medical test, everything, for the visa process. So when you're here, many of you will explore, we'll visit, we do appointments with realtors, we'll tour, we'll go to visit the Panama Canal, or things like that, because the process, your time for the visa process is only one visit at the lawyer's office and one visit to the immigration office, and that's it. The visit at the immigration office usually takes an hour, maybe more, depending on the volume of people and the and the situation and the immigration office sometimes is different, but usually it's like that, and you will wait, a little while until you're ready for your turn for the picture. Sometimes it's less time, sometimes it's more, but that's it. The next visit is also the same. One visit at the immigration office, and if you're permanent under the pensionado, there is an appointment at a tribunal at our civil registry where you will get the picture of the e-cedula. And this is tricky because since last year, there is an appointment, not by us, but by them. And since this is by appointment, right now they are offering appointments in March. So if you're planning to visit on your second trip, you have to plan accordingly because of that available. So you could take the picture of the permanent residency card and also the e-cedula in one trip. If you're visiting next month, you will get the picture only of the permanent residency card, right? So this is something that needs to be planned. If you come in a third time, because I'm pretty sure won't be the only time you will be in Panama, I'm sure you will be back again. On that trip, you take the picture of the e-cedula. Like that's fine. They are not rushing you to go there, but it's good, that you plan ahead. Oh no. Oh, the apostille. The apostille is a type of authentication on the documents. For a visa process, you have to put a stamp on the. It's like a notary. In the U.S., it's notary, but for international use, it's an apostille, which is a type of international authentication of documents that is used in many countries. It's done by the Department of State. But what we recommend is that if you are not familiar with apostille, you can use a Panamanian consulate near you. There are some Panamanian consulates in the US, in Canada, in your state. If there are no Panama consulates in your state, you could always use the one in Washington. I'm sorry, did you say there's a delay until March to meet you? Oh, no, 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 no. No. I mean a delay on the tribunal. The tribunal is the civil registry is the local institution that gives you the e-cedula. So they go by appointment. So right now, if you need an appointment for the e-cedula, the photo of the e-cedula, the appointments are now around March. And now we're in January. So if you are in the process of obtaining the cedula is when you have the approval of your permanent residency. Then you have to know that you cannot go the next day. For immigration card, the permanent card, it's fine. They don't work by appointment, so we can go tomorrow. That's fine. It's just the tribunal that they started last year working with appointments, and they have a website where we have to schedule it for you before we go there. If I'm already in Panama, can I have my authenticated FBI background check sent by Panama consulate directly to your office? I do not have an address in Panama. Yes. The Panamanian consulate in California, for example, they could do that, and they can send them to our office using FedEx, and it costs $85. So you don't have to have an address. They can send it to our office. That's very common. That's how we work. I am retiring next month. Do I need any documentation from employer before I leave? It depends how your retirement. But if you are 60, you are 62 and your retirement, let's say from Social Security, what you will need is a Social Security benefit letter. If you're retiring from your employer, that's a private type of pension, they will have to give you a letter that certifies that you will have a lifetime pension. So it depends. If your pension is going to be from the government, you won't have to request anything to your employer. Once my son is registered with the tribunal and needs to make an appointment, when he enters Panama, can he go through the Panameño line in immigration, or would he have to still go to extranjero? Oh, okay. Well, um, that's a good question. Once your son is registered, you will receive a document that will show the cedula number. With that document, that's proof that you're Panamanian and you have a cedula number. So you could do the line for Panameño with that paper, with that document that we can share with you. Hi, I'm a resident. I got residency last year. Hi, Laura. But I'm not currently living in Panama, so I don't have an address to provide. Is that a problem? Should I define a legal address? Okay. If you are not living in Panama right now, there is nothing you can do, because the update of your address is when you have an address in Panama. They want you to know, they want you to update them once you have a rental agreement, or you have not a temporary address, more like a medium term, long term address. That's a good question, right? But it's not for everybody, because many of you are applying on residency. You came only for 5 days. You stay in a hotel. You stay in an Airbnb. You might try to sign some rental agreements, but not haven't closed yet. But as soon as you sign a rental agreement, is when you have 30 days to update your address at the immigration office by showing them a utility bill. If it's in the name of your landlord, is fine, and the rental agreement, right? To let them know that you have a new address. But if you don't have an address, that's not a problem. I need a waiver for my background. Is this possible? I'm not sure what's a waiver in this situation of a background. If you can elaborate a little bit more so I can understand. A waiver in the cost, or they have to delete something in the background like expungement? I'm not sure. What does it mean? Because I had attorney Nicole, one of our attorneys, she mentioned me today that she had a client that had some charges in his FBI report, and he was able to get it clean. Like they deleted the information that was in the background check. So in a short time. So that was very interesting, because I understood that that was a very long and expensive process. But I recently heard today from my colleague that a client of hers got an expungement. They basically clean up the charges because it was a mistake or a misunderstanding. So yes, that's the expungement. Right. Yes, yes. So if you could do that, great. But if the FBI report has charges and are misdemeanors, it's okay. And if it's a felony and it was dismissed or withdrawn or non pro, something like that, like not processed, or it's also fine, because we can explain immigration that it was something that was didn't happen, right? It's there but didn't happen. But if you have a way to get it updated by the police where the charge happened, or with an expungement process, is better. It's better. Hello again. Once you have your cedula, do you need to update your address with immigration every time you have a new lease or purchase a home? Oh, okay. If you have your cedula and you have sign a rental or purchase property, you have to update immigration office. Yes, yes. If you are on an Airbnb, every time you move to every one Airbnb to another, I don't think you have to do that because that's a short-term rental, not really a permanent address where they can find you or locate you in case they need or something, because that's the purpose of updating address, is because they want to know where you live in case they need to have information to share with an authority or something like that, right? It's more for cooperation purposes. So if you share your US address the first time, or hotel or Airbnb address, you should leave it like that. You should update it once you have a new address in Panama and you move for good. Greetings and Happy New Year. Happy New Year for you too. My question is about pensionado visa. Can a pensionado visa holder living in Panama ever qualify for citizenship after 5 years? Good question. Good question. And I had this question before by some others. The pension is called pensionado visa, but it's a permanent type of residency by law. The law is from the 80s, and you get the cedula. The cedula is proof that you are a permanent type of resident of Panama, and also the immigration office issues, we call it resolution. A resolution is like an order from the immigration director that approves you as a permanent resident of Panama. So when you fill up the forms at the office, you put the names of your parents, and you are like, why are you asking me the name of my parents? It's because in your resolution, they have to mention your name and the name of your parents. And it says that you are formally a permanent resident, like in how do you call indefinite time, like it means forever, it means permanent. So you could definitely apply for citizenship, because citizenship is you apply for citizenship once you are a permanent resident of Panama for 5 years. Good evening. Hi, Teresa. In 2027, I'll be receiving probably between 500, 600 from a state pension in the United States. Outside of purchasing something, is there any other way to qualify? Okay, thank you for your question. There are other options, because for pensionado visa, you might know that it needs to be 1,000, and if it's less, 700, and purchasing $100,000 in real estate. That's a way out, to apply for pensionado. The other option is combining the pension with a spouse, so it makes 1,000 USD. And another option is combining that pension with a private pension, like an annuity plan from, for example, life insurance company, and combine it with the one you will have. If not possible, we have the Friendly Nations visa by setting up a corp. Okay, okay, no problem. By setting up a corp, a business in Panama, you could do that, and you could use that business, for to get some local income here, or purchasing real estate, or having a fixed term deposit for 3 years, 200K. So there is an option that leads to permanent residency. And we also have a temporary visa for US citizens. If you are from the US, you could also apply to this visa that's for 1 year, renewable every year for up to 5 years, but it's not permanent. But you still have options if you want to move to Panama. Another question: if I have either permanent visa or my cedula, do I have a return plane ticket? Oh, good question. When I come through the immigration customs at the airport? No, not really. Not really, Mr. Douglas, because once you have the temporary, you could do the line at the airport for residents. Also, when you're permanent and when you have the cedula, you can do the line for residents, not turistas. That line is only for when you enter the first time as a tourist. Then once you got the temporary, you can do the line for residents, and there's another line for Panamanians. And you don't need a return ticket, because the return ticket is only for tourists. The return ticket is only for the first time. That once you are temporary resident, you could show only one-way ticket. That's fine. What is that visa called that has to be done every year? Yes, well, we call it temporary visa for US citizens because it's a visa that was created in 2019, if I'm not wrong, for Americans only that wants to study, work, or set up a Panamanian corp or business or do something in Panama, basically. And the minimum requirement is showing a share certificate incorporating a Panamanian company. Most of the applicants will choose this option. There are some that maybe will study Spanish and use this option, but yeah, that's it. This visa is not so common, really, because it's not so much. I think that many of the applicants are retirees or doing friendly nations, but there is a group of people that are finding options, also digital nomads, people that will work remotely, explore Panama. So it's a way to be in Panama for short term, for a few years. And I've also noticed that those that are still waiting to retire can be in Panama now and then switch to the permanent pensionado visa and already move to Panama with this temporary option if you're from the United States. You're welcome. I really appreciate, you being here. Remember that we will do this every month. I really appreciate that you came up with questions. We're happy to solve them. You know that we could help you doing complementary consultation. You could always send us an email, and you will have an assigned attorney that will help you with calls, with the complementary consultation, at any time. And also we open a WhatsApp group, to keep you updated. It's important, for us to keep you communicated. So if you're starting this process, we'll be happy, to help you by email, by calls, and hopefully this be the year where you will, visit Panama and obtain residency. Question: we'll be there in February with our apostille papers, hopefully meeting with Ms. Lansstein. We cannot get photos taken to move the process along for the pensionado visa. Okay, great. Yes, we cannot get photos taken to move photos. Well, the documents that are apostille, you can take photos of them and then we could review them by email, right? If it's difficult by email, you don't have a scanner or someone can scan them for you, you can take a picture of them and then we can see them by checking on the photos. Sometimes we saw that happening. And if you meaning the photos for how do you go for the visa process, we take them in Panama. Some people take passport photos in the US or in Canada or other countries. They bring them or they give it to us. But to be honest, we don't worry about that so much because we take the photos here at the office. no problem. I don't know if those photos were you referring to. I am currently in the process of gaining the pensionado. Great, super. I have been working with Sabrina. Oh, excellent. Yes, Sabrina is still available. December had so many holidays, and then we came back last week. So if you haven't get an answer from her, it's possibly because we came back from the holidays, and then we had a holiday last week as well. We had a type of Memorial Day, so we came back yesterday. So if you need help, send me an email. I also will try to help, and or call us in the office because we recently came back from the holidays. It happened over 25 years ago. Okay. Okay. Yes. Feel free to share the report with us and we review it. We review all the FBI background check. We review all the FBI background checks and give you our opinions, and if it's not me, my other colleagues sometimes come to me and we review them together and, we give you our thoughts because most of the time the reports they have charges, but there are things that are not happened a long time ago, or sometimes they were dismissed, you pay a fine. So what the immigration office definitely they don't want is criminal activities, right? Felonies and things like that. One more question. I'm sorry. No problem. The retirement visa, once obtained, you are permanent resident? Yes, definitely. It's called retirement visa, pensionado visa, but I think it's called visa just because it's easy to say it. But in Spanish, it's actually jubilado, residencia como jubilado, which means it's a permanent residency. But for English speakers, they call it pensionado visa. I think it sounds good, but it's not a visa. It's permanent residency. Does Panama have a student visa option available for people who want to study and learn Spanish? Yes, yes. We have a student visa. If you're from the US, you could use the temporary visa for US citizens and you show that you are enrolled in a Spanish course for 1 year and you could obtain this visa as if you are from the US. We have a student visa also for studying like primary schools, high school, university, and also postgraduate or master degrees, not Spanish course. But if you're from the US, you could apply under the temporary visa for US citizens showing that you will study Spanish in Panama. Did you say that a single money order can be sent to the consulate for authentication and FedEx? Yes, yes, they accept money orders. What's most important is that you cover everything that they need because sometimes we have cases where the consulates tell us that it's not complete the payment, like it's missing $30. They charge $30 per each document. And if we're meaning the FedEx for the Panama consulate in Long Beach, they charge $85. Yes. Of course, I always recommend that you call them to make sure you know every detail because things sometimes change and it's important to have current information every time you do something with Panama consulates. Hola, hola Mari, how are you? My temporary visa expires February 27, 2026. As I stand in the residence line, will I need a letter to explain to customs that I have my appointments for permanent later in March? Well, not necessarily. They have in their system because when you exit, when you exit, when you enter the airport and you do the line with immigration officers because it's not really customs, they're immigration officers. They have in their system that you're resident. They must know that. Some of them might ask questions, some of them they don't. It depends on their mood, I guess. Sometimes if you already did this, you could share your experience, in the comments we share, but there's no specifics when you come back. If you like, we can share with you the resolution that proves your permanent residency. We can send that to you on email, and you can show them like, hey, I'm permanent resident. If you want to be like super super safe, but I haven't heard any complaint or comment from previous clients telling us that they get trouble at the airport. Not really. They show their temporary visa expired, and they explain, and they coming back, right? I heard about red carpet visa for permanent residents to get a travel passport. Can you elaborate? Did I miss this talk already? Thank you. Of course, of course. This is a very hot topic because a lot of people are talking about it right now. It's about, like, I've seen like visa changes and things are changing. What changed is that there is a new special travel passport that was approved in October last year, only for those that apply under the red carpet visa, which is called also qualified investor visa, golden visa. It's a new visa that was approved during COVID to try to improve investment in Panama, like investment on real estate. And it gives you permanent residency in less than 30 working days if you invest in real estate 300K, and it gives you a cedula also very quickly. So with this visa now, you're eligible for a special passport. Is how they call it. It's the same passport that you also get in a visa that's for 5 years, getting an investment on a National Bank of Panama. But it's not a popular visa among Americans because it's temporary, and you under the Friendly Nations visa and on their pensionado, you could obtain permanent residency. And also the qualified investor visa is getting a lot of interest from United States. Before this visa, the highest amount of applicants were from Colombia, Peru, Latin countries. But right now, in the statistics, the Americans and Canadians, are in the top list of countries that are applying to this visa. And it gives you a travel passport. It's not citizenship, it's a passport. So you would have to always keep your US passport and in your passport, in the Panama passport, it will say like you're born in US and special passport, right? I haven't seen it yet because they have to regulate this. Was just approved in a law, but we will see when we have it. When we have our first case, we'll see how this look like. We will also, if you're from United States, I don't think you will have problems traveling, but maybe some other countries might have trouble to enter some countries, but it would let you travel freely without citizenship. I guess if there is a country where the United States, as a United States national, you could not enter, but Panama can, then you could use this passport to go there. I guess that's the advantage in this case. Or if something happens and you cannot have the passport, or you lose it for some reason, you have that extra passport to travel to other countries. My wife and I plan to get the pensionado visa and have enough monthly lifetime income for 1,000 to 50. Great. But we have a 12-year-old. Do we have to include him since he is our dependent or not yet an adult? Okay, you have two options. I definitely recommend you, if you can, wait until you get your permanent residency and your cedula and add your son to the process that's called regrouping or reunification family visa, because then you will get permanent residency after 2 years. If you add him now under the pensionado visa, the residency will be only until the age of 25 years old. This is why some people tell me, like, okay, a couple that's VA, very young, they have young children, and they say, oh, it's okay, we will include them, it's simple, put them everybody in one application, and then later we worry about switching them to the other regrouping family visa. But we have other clients that say, no, well, we'll get permanent residency first. They cannot visit with us in this trip. Then later we will put them in this uh, permanent residency program. They will have to visit Panama in person. If they're more than 18 years old, they have to be single and studying at university and or college. I will be in Panama in few months. Oh, hi, Tony. How are you? Excited to be a resident. Yeah, I know, I know. Hi, Giovanna, I will be in Panama in April. Hi, Pedro, and would like to renew my cédula. How long would I have to stay in order to get it? Uh-huh. Okay. If you already have an e-cedula, I'm not sure if it's cedula like Panamanian. If it's Panamanian or just renewal, it's fine. You don't need an appointment. The appointment is for those that got permanent residency approved recently for the first time. That's when you need the appointment. If it's just a renewal or you're Panamanian and it's just a renewal, you can walk in and they will help you and take you the picture. You will have to wait for about a week to get it back. So if you're staying for a long time, you can go yourself directly and pick it up. Or if you need help, someone can help you with a letter. Pick your cedula. Okay, great. I like this. I really appreciate that you're here. We'll be very happy, if you're interested in learning more, always schedule a Teams call with us through our website. And if you have already an assigned attorney, you could also send us an email and we schedule a call with an attorney that can help you, your assigned attorney now. You could also call our office or help you open a WhatsApp group, to be quickly in touch with you. Have a lovely evening, and I hope to see you soon in Panama again. We look forward to see you here. If you're here, enjoy. Bye-bye.